done so many characters. In fact, I mean, you did 2 episodes in the classic Little House.
Yeah.
Little House on the Prairie. What? The Magic Box, and I remember.
The music box.
Yeah.
There's Alison and I. Can you see that?
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
Isn't that cute? That's Alison and I. Yeah, the music box. That was a great one because I was being bullied. In that one, I was a stutterer, which is really. Is Alison right there?
Huh?
Who is that? Oh my God!
How are you?
I'm great. How are you? My God!
I tuned in. I'm like coming into the room and she's like, and that was the one where I played a stutterer, which is really hard. And I'm just like going, say it again faster. I can't hear you. I'm just, yes.
Hi. Did you enjoy your birthday present?
Well, my birthday thing, yes, it was so insane. So like on the 12th, I had a show. So I did the show, and then for the curtain call, but in the living room on my online show. So it was just me and Bob and the cats, and then I had cake, and then we ordered pizza. And then Emery said, okay, here's your video. I asked some people to say happy birthday, but then they all said yes. And then they called all their friends and they all said yes. And so it's 2.5 hours long. So manatees. Did you know that I had a thing about manatees?
I had no idea.
Because I made a movie in Florida when I was 10. I did Throw Out the Anchor. It wasn't a good movie, but I made a movie in Florida when I was 10. And we were on the St. Johns River, which is full of manatees and alligators and other stuff and armadillos in the woods and possums and things. And there were bloop, 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 manatees. And I was 10, so I was reading about animals that were and manatees were having a terrible time because too many people were riding their propeller boats on the St. Johns River and they were killing them. And apparently they cut back on it, and it worked. The manatees kind of came back because they were really, really endangered. They're still having a bad time. Yeah. I love them because they're like freshwater walruses.
Yes.
You're not normal. You're like, why are you in a river? You are like a whale or a walrus. Why are you in a river? What is happening?
And they're so gentle and they're so beautiful. Wow. It's so good to see you. You look amazing. Happy birthday.
60 years
old.
Birthday. I have my reading glasses. I was just at the eye doctor this morning. I'm going to be getting slightly more powerful reading glasses.
Yes, it's that time.
Well, you look gorgeous.
Now, we were talking about that show. Is that where the two of you met on that show?
Was that? Yeah. Because we kept crossing paths. I mean, later there was that wackadoo thing in Atlanta.
Yes.
It was you just been Heidi. You were Heidi, so we were all in Atlanta.
Right. I think that was the Heidi time. Yeah, that was a promo for Heidi and NBC. That was Heidi. And remember
Little Abner, because they were doing a musical, sort of like they do these musicals live now on the NBC did Little Abner, and Stephen Burns and all these people were all in their Little Abner clothes most of the time at the event. It was very weird. And we went, it was bananas. We had all these actors dressed up in their Little Abner gear, really embarrassed having to walk around the hallways of this expensive hotel barefoot. It was nuts. And then we went to this huge dinner and it was all really crazy. So we hung out at that. That was just banana beds. But we met.
Disco. You remember going to a disco?
We were underage and they served all this booze at the table and we were children and nobody was checking. So we're like, because we were idiot kids and we proceeded to drink everything at the table. And then they said, we're going to the disco. It's 21 and over. What are you guys, 12? Get in the car. And there we were at the disco. Yeah. I was just turned 16, maybe. Yeah.
At the disco.
Oh, I was 12 or 13 at the time.
Really 13. I was 15, and I went dancing with Stephen Burns in this disco that was absolutely not supposed to be for children. And you were freaking 12. And
people were staring at us. Yeah, I remember that. Wow.
And there was all sorts of going to underage things and consumption of alcohol and debauchery in Atlanta, and because child actors, and this is what goes on because there you go.
Yeah, this is what goes on.
Yep. It was nuts. But we met during the stuttering thing. Yes. And I was very cruel to you. I was cracking myself up even thinking about it. It was so much fun.
I was watching a clip from that last night, and I was going, oh, and when your father says, get in your room, or I'm going to, you know.
Where do you think you're going?
To school. I'll be late.
Today, you've got a lesson to learn right here at home. You go to your room. Now!
And that scene between the two of you.
But you were so convincing. I mean, I still, to this day, people go, that poor little girl really stuttered. I'm like, no, that's like, she was on Hotel. Didn't you see her come on Ted like a whole life? What we're talking about. But yeah, people bought it, and then you're like, I'm saying all these, and you start crying, and it was hard. It was hard to stand there and go, I can't hear you, say it faster, when you're like sobbing hysterically in my face. I was like, okay, this is kind of awful.
It was awesome. I had such a good time. It was wonderful. I got to I love playing the victim.
I actually refer to that episode as the episode where even I hate me.
Oh,
bad. Because I watch it and go, that's pretty terrible. It actually, it's really creepy. It's really creepy. It's like that terrible. So yeah. So
you really got hate mail after that one, right?
It was like so bad.
Oh my God.
And it wouldn't have worked if you hadn't been so vulnerable and sweet and so convincing as a stutterer and stammerer and crying. So it would have been as quite so evil, but it just made it so much worse because you were like so sweet and I'm so opposite.
Yeah.
But that was the thing.
Yeah, I was really out to make you look bad.
You did. You made me look bad. And
definitely.
It was so bonkers because when I was in like the first or second grade, I couldn't say the letter S. And I have to stay after school for speech class. And I had to go to speech class with the stutterers and the stammerers and a girl who couldn't say the letter R. And they taught me to stop talking like this and to say the letter S. So I technically had legally a speech impediment, I guess. And then I went and they fixed it and I stopped saying the instead of s. And I was friends with a girl, and for 2 months I thought her name was Wanda. And no, it was Rhonda. But she thought my name was Alison because I mean, it was crazy. But it was all the kids who stammered and stuttered. So since I hung out with all the people who couldn't say S and couldn't say R and stammered, right, the idea of torturing someone who stammered or stuttered, no, gave me the creeps.
Yeah, you did so good though. But what was so wonderful was that you and Melissa were so kind. It was my first theatrical job.
Really?
Before that, I'd only done commercials. Yeah, I'd only done commercials before that. I've done some plays
you
and stuff.
Like a fiend. You were in everything. You were like, as I said, like the journeyman actor. You were in all the TV movies. You were like, banging it out. But we were the first.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't stuck on a series, honey. I wasn't stuck on a series, so I freelanced. I did all kind of, I was out there doing all kind of stuff. You made me famous because, I'm not sure exactly how it happened. I know that I did. Little House was first, and then right after that, I did an after-school special with Melissa Sue Anderson.
Right.
And then I did When Every Day Was the 4th of July, which was that movie that David and I were talking about earlier. And were you in that thing? When every day was the 4th of July, I just worked.
Well, because then you were like a star. Now, what was that thing? Were you in Circle of Children that like everybody was in? No, okay.
What?
That was thing Circle of Children. That was the thing with Matt Laborto. That was the weird thing where like half my friends were in Circle. It's like everyone was in it. Todd Bridges. It was like everybody was in Circle of Children. I'm like, I was busy. I
must have been busy.
But yeah, you did Every Day with 4th of July, so that was like huge. But yeah, so we were your like gateway drug to television.
Yes, you were my gateway drug. That's right.
It just catapulted you into the next realm.
We love. Now you said Melissa and I were nice to you, which is good because the first gig, people are horrible, and we were nice.
Awesome. You were great. I mean, I felt so, and everybody else paled by comparison. Every time I worked on any other show, especially like I did like 14 guest spots or something.
Right.
And I was all expecting everybody to be like, hi, let's go play. And they were like, no, in school, out, in school, out, in school, out, work, cry.
Worked on Little House. They all say this. Everyone says, I worked on Little House and everyone was so friendly. And then I go to work on another show and I'm like, good morning. And they're like, what? Get ready. Leave me alone. I'm working. And like, nobody speaks to anyone and everyone's horrible. The director's yelling at you. And they're like, what happened? A Little House. Everyone's like, hi, have you had breakfast? Do you want anything?
Yeah.
All chipper. And well, it was
the
so
culture was really great.
We were nice. The mom of the baby Grace twins, little Wendy and Brenda were so cute, little baby Grace. Their mom, because they're infants, they started Little House and then they were on for a couple of years. And she went, well, this is going pretty well. Everyone's really nice to them. No one's abusing them. They're getting their nursery school. It's like fine. So she finished and goes, I don't know if they really want to be show business, but let's do it. So she sent them out for some more stuff and they got a commercial. They get to the commercial set and she said, it was awful. Nobody cared if they'd eaten, if they'd had a nap. Nobody checked on them. Nobody wanted to know if they'd had lunch. They just kept working them. Everybody was kind of awful. And she said, and as soon as she got out of there, she did the one commercial. She said, well, kids, that's it. We're not doing this anymore. And they were like, fine by us. They were like, 3. And they just didn't care. And she said, yeah, that's the end of that. She said, no, if everyone ran a set like Little House and all the adults had been nice and checking on my kids and being solicitous of their well-being, like on Little House, she said, oh, maybe they'd have gone on and done commercials. She said, literally the next job we got, she was just like slack-jawed going, well, this isn't any fun. This is terrible. Why would you want to do this for your kids?
Commercials are a meat factory, I swear. My first commercial in Los Angeles, because I started doing commercials in Miami, and then we moved out to LA when I was 7. My first commercial in Los Angeles was for Twinkies with Ann Blythe. And we're on a boat, and it's after lunch. We had eaten, pigged out on lunch. We get on this boat, and 67 bites out of dried out Twinkies.
Oh, no.
7 bites out of dried. And at first, I didn't know where, I didn't know that you had the spit bucket. So, after the 4th bite, I'm like, I'm turning green. I'm on a boat.
And when you're a kid, who spits out food? You're like eating it, spitting out food's disgusting. It was like the Roman vomitorium, or what the hell are you doing? Who does that?
And the director was like, I took this bite out of this Twinkie and my face must have been horrible because it was really dried out. And the director comes up to me and says, Katy, you're supposed to like the Twinkie.
I did my one burger commercial. I was like, I guess we won't be doing a lot of fast food commercials with a Caro's restaurant or something. And it was like a marching band, a cute little marching band uniform. I got to carry around a trombone that I do not play. And so we go in the restaurant and then but it's all cold. There's all these burgers and fries and they're ice cold, which is disgusting. And the fries, because I don't know, maybe digital now, they can cook them all the way, but in film, they look darker on camera. So they're like barely cooked. They're like almost raw, just kind of pale, dead fries. And they're like, okay. And people are eating it. And I'm like, oh, hell no. And they're like, can you take a bite of the burger? And it's just like, I don't think I can. And they're like, okay, well, eat the fries. That's fine, eat the fries. So I eat the fries. And the look on my face is horror. I'm like, yeah, but you look like you like them. Yeah, same thing. No, they're supposed to be good. Oh, okay. They were so bad. And it was terrible because Caro's has good food in real life. But no. And all the stuff is cold and dead and sitting out for hours and pale and why? Horrible. And they don't warn you. Oh, by the way, we'll be serving cold, dead food and you need to fix. They just go here and you're like, what is that?
It's really good to see you, Alison.
So good to see you. This is awesome.
I love it. I'm just sitting here loving it because it's like 2 old friends getting together.
Yeah.
Really cool. Yeah, I haven't seen you in years now. It's been
years. Yeah, you moved in the thing and then of course the last 2 years I've kind of been in this chair. I've done some little reprise. I've gone out and I did some stuff. I went to South Dakota thing, and then I made a movie. God, in September 2020, I mean, we're all like masked up and like, stand over there. The camera, and we did the movie.
Great. What movie did you do?
I made a movie called Even in Dreams. And it was shot in Utah. It's super wholesome. A lot of Mormons, there's two Osmonds.
Huh?
It's about this young girl, and she's trying to sing her sister's songs and keep her memory alive and keep her band together. And it's a sequel to the first one. The two sisters were together, and it's a young girl trying to make her way in the music industry and stick to her values, keep her band together. And it's so goody and lovely. And then she meets this manager that she's been referred to that's supposed to help her, who turns out to be evil, manipulative, exploitive, awful person.
Like real LA at times, right?
Yeah. When people at the screening, I had people come up to me and say, I've worked in the music industry and that was a little too accurate. I was having flashbacks.
Oh, no.
I'm so evil. I'm just completely evil in it. I did that, and then it was actually in theaters.
What is it? You're the manager?
I was the evil manager. I was an evil band manager. No,
I
played an evil band manager. And I was completely evil. I was so evil. It's almost like booing and hissing at the screen. And I had people who said, I'm in the music industry, and oh my God, that was too accurate. You're scaring the crap out of me. And then it's out on DVD and Blu-ray now.
Oh,
even
good.
And it's like a young girl power, Hillary Duff. Yes, stick to your values, girls. Lovely, wholesome, take the kids movie. And I'm just like, Satan. So yeah, it's really good. I did that, and then I've been doing my comedy, but doing it like online on stage at like pay-per-view. I have all these. I keep going to Amazon and buying these backdrops, hanging these things in my living room. I have just my thing now that I dropped it on the floor. Okay, I have a brick wall. I have Halloween, Christmas, whatever. This is outer space because it was the birthday blast off. Got Valentine's is coming up February 12th. So I get up and we set up the computer, and we have lighting, and we have a backdrop, and we come up with little themes, things, and play music. And then Bob runs camera. We log in, and then I come out and go, hi, everybody. So anyway, and I do stand up, and people pay $10, and I'm in there. I love that. I'm in my living room, they're in their living room, and it's brilliant. We did it when in 2020, I had a show in New York that was, of course, canceled. So we went, look, hi, I could do it here. And now I'm just doing that every month. And then I went to New York in September, and I did do shows, Rochester Fringe, a place called Caveat. So it's like I do some outside, but I've done a couple virtual autograph shows.
Oh, wow.
I've been reading books. I read the Little House books on Facebook Live. Now I'm reading The Three Faces of Nellie. And cooking. I'm making cooking videos. I have a YouTube channel called Who's Going to Do the Cooking.
I love those. Oh, by the way, thank you again for those lemon meringue pies during that first year of the pandemic.
Okay.
Mentally saved me.
You're in line for another pie because with the birthday, you just had the birthday?
Yes.
And for my birthday, I got the KitchenAid giant standing mixer. That was my birthday present. So it's got the big whip potato. It is ready. I got the whip. So lemon meringue pie. The meringue will be very large with it.
Okay. I just thought of a good Halloween costume for me. A lemon meringue pie.
So that's I've been working. Sometimes I work in my living room, and sometimes I go someplace and actually do work. But then sometimes I'm just here in the chair, just talking like this.
Right. Hey, Katy.
Is Katy frozen? Katy, Katy, I can hear her. Yes,
you're frozen again. Oh
no, Katy, come back!
Come back.
Technology.
I love it. I don't know. This is going to be a little editing job, but that's okay.
I got the giant whatever gallon bowl artisanal tilt-headed whatever KitchenAid in like 1950s turquoise.
Oh, I love that.
So you're getting another lemon meringue pie because I got the fancy mixer, so I got to do it. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I look forward to it. So I want to know about both.
Yeah.
What would you tell the actors out there right now who are looking to get into show business, and if they are under 18, what would you say?
Well, if they're young, what?
If what would you tell actors who or the parents of actors getting there? Would you say, hey, jump into the business, it's fun, or you know, you got to be careful?
Both. I don't know if anybody else is my video keeps messing with me, so I'm just going to talk as if I'm the only one talking. I would say if you really want to do the business, do a lot of theater, maybe some commercials when you're younger. Don't try to get into theatricals because you want to wait, get some experience, but you want to wait until you're just about past puberty before you start working as an actor, if you want to work as an adult, because cancel culture is real for child actors. Just saying. You might be a successful actor, but you're not going to be a successful adult actor. So give it some time and wait and get some experience. At the same time, it's easier to get in when you're a kid. So, you know, 13, 14, I would say that's good, because if you can land something and then work through your transition, then you got a good chance of staying working as an adult. But if you want your child to grow up normal, if you want to be a normal human, don't be an actor, because we're not normal.
Yeah, my first response, I thought, but my first response was, you want to be in the business, you're very young, you want your parents, you want to put your child in bed. My first was, run away. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't put your daughter on the stage. Generally, 99% of people who think they want to be actors or be in show business or want to put the kids, I would say, no, just please don't do this. Don't do this. Find something else to do. You will be sorry. It's a terrible idea. Now, saying that, the other, that tiny 0.1% out there, you may have that kid who is in your living room, who is not afraid of adults and strangers, who doesn't mind large groups of people, who is not easily frightened and intimidated, who really does seem to be into it, who's watching movies and TV and like getting what they're doing. You're like, who is this child? What is they may have it. They may be actor, and you go, okay, what am I going to do? And they really say they want to do it. You may have that person. You know, it's like the kids are the virtuoso violinist or whatever. So, okay. I always say, start where you are. Don't jump on a plane to Hollywood or New York. There's community theater. There's theater at school. Nowadays, children get together and they make movies. There's kids to get their own YouTube channel. There's stuff you can do without totally trashing your life and running off to Hollywood, where your kid can make stuff and be creative and do theater and learn about acting and learn about the process. And then there are people who's like, okay, if it seems to be working out, you want to like try out, audition for things, okay, but proceed with caution, because no, it's not normal, and it's very hard work. And frankly, most normal people can't cover it. I think about it all the time, like people they'll see kids on TV and they do, well, I could do that, or my kid could do that, and it's like, when I think how much goes into it, think about your average kid, you know, your own kid or a kid you know of say 9, 10. Could you randomly hand them something and say, here, read this out loud? Cold, read this out loud. Just read it. How good would it be? Would they stop a lot? Would they have any trouble? Or would they just be able to do that? Okay. Now hand them 3 pages of something, a script, a book, and say, go memorize this and come up and stand up and recite it for me tomorrow from memory. Could child do that? Now, imagine taking your child from the house to a completely strange place several hours away, to outdoors or an indoor location, with 150 complete strangers, adults, and have them stand in front of those 150 strangers with lights and cameras pointed at them and say, okay, go, and have them recite the 3 pages. Could your child do that? That's very intimidating and a frightening experience for anyone adult. And most people cannot do that. They can't, because it's like ridiculous. They go, they cannot do that. Certain people can. And those are the people you see on your TV. And that's just that's the acting part. Then there's agents and managers and publicity. You know, are you going to go to the telethon? Are you going to go to Toys for Tots? Will you be appearing on the red carpet? Are you going to would the child be doing interviews? What? There's a whole bunch of stuff. And most people are not prepared for that. Most people are not prepared for that. And most people shouldn't be doing it and can't do it and shouldn't do it and will hurt themselves. Tiny, certain. Some people have a weird personality. They're cut out to do that.
Yeah.
Those people aren't.
Yes. I think about my ability to memorize. I could memorize things I hear because I couldn't read. I couldn't read in my grade level until I was 16. But, you know, that's a whole another thing. I could have been one of these people. If I had taken that talent, I could speak 8 languages now. You know, if I, you know, if your kid is this smart that they can do this kind of thing, have them be you know, they could be a judge. They could be a brain surgeon. I mean, if they're that smart,
they could
do something else. Let them be an astronaut. Don't, you know, television is not all it's cracked up to be. I mean, it sounds glamorous, but it's really not. It's not that glamorous, and you don't make that much money. I mean, really, you don't, for how much work you do.
This many people make a bunch of money, and then these people, even if they weren't just dead.
Well, yeah, and, you know, and it's interesting.
For a while, and then never again. And you know, and you could have been a freaking, you know, you could be running a hospital. You could be a diplomat. You could be a lawyer. I mean, there's so many things that you could do with this brain power that was just wasted. It was my mind wasted.
Well, you know, I'm listening to this. I'm listening to both of you, and of course, I grew up in this little town south of San Francisco, and I always loved Hollywood, and I watched Little House. I watched Every Day Was the 4th of July, and I watched all these shows growing up, Happy Days, whatever it was. But I'm listening to this and so glad that I had my childhood the way I had it. I mean, it sounds like you both didn't have a full childhood then.
Well, okay, I'll give you an example. You know that dream that sometimes people say they have, where they're in a dream. They don't know they're in a dream. They're back in high school. They're not wearing their underwear. They don't have any their homework. You know, that dream, I don't have that dream. My dream is that I'm on the set. I haven't read the script. My wardrobe is wrong. I can't find anybody that has the size. I'm up in a moment. My makeup's wrong. I don't know what flippin' scene I haven't read the script. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm going to be fired because I don't know my lines. And I can't find anybody to give me the freaking sides. Yeah, that's my dream. That's the dream I have.
Ditto thing. It's what the problem is that show business has over the years, and it's not really new. It's been going on probably since like the 30s or 40s when the movies became a big thing. Being a movie star or a TV star, or worse, a pop star, has become the American version of marry a handsome prince and become royalty. Remember what fairy tales were? You would be a poor peasant girl, Cinderella, you know, sitting by the fire and having to mop and clean. It was the fantasy in all the fairy tales is the poor orphan girl living with the evil stepmother. Her mother has died, and they're poor and they're woodsmen. And somehow Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, what have you, they meet a handsome prince of royalty and get married, and they move to the palace and they become a queen. And this was a big fantasy. And you'd have to think, well, wow, in like feudal times, well, that would kind of be it. You'd be like, well, we're going to be digging potatoes here in the dirt for generations, or maybe someone will meet a prince, and that was kind of thing. People have this weird, it's like, this is the fantasy now. I will get discovered and be in show business and become a movie star or a rock star. And it's almost the same mentality. I'll meet a handsome prince, and I won't have to cook and clean for my evil stepmother and ugly stepsisters.
Right. Yeah. There is no happily ever after.
We're people that worked out like kind of almost good for, you know, my career. But I got the speech. Okay, so I started working when I was 5. My SAG card says member since 1967. So I was like 5 when I first started working. And it's great. It's great. So I was at a SAG meeting a couple of years ago, and everyone's getting up and saying, member since 19, and then speaking. And people get member since 1989. And everyone go, I'm very impressed, and they'd speak. I've been a member since 1992. People go, and they'd speak. And I got up, and I didn't even think about it. I said, member since 1967. And everybody went, I forget, like 1970. So I remember I was doing like, I did like a Hunt's ketchup commercial. I had an aftercard too, because I was on juvenile jury. I was the Kitty Carlisle of the 3rd grade. I was on a panel show. It's very clever. So I was doing all this. I worked like a fiend, and I did a movie when I was 10. So I worked a lot, really, from like 6 to 10. Did a bunch of stuff, and then I didn't get work. I thought the movie would blow it out, and it didn't. Well, it wasn't that great a movie. I don't know if anybody saw it. So it didn't go anywhere, and I wasn't working. So I'm 11, and my father sits me down to have a realistic talk, and he says, look, you haven't booked anything lately, and you had the feature film, and we thought that would be bigger. So we need to take into account you might not work again. This is very common that people who work a lot at 6, 7, and 8 don't really work at 11 and 12, 13. They shift, there's a shift, and they may never work. I said, now you might work as an adult, as a totally different person, or you may never work again. This could be it completely, but you are at that age.
Very good of him. That's a frank conversation to have with somebody.
I mean, it's crazy because I was basically being told I was washed up and I was old and my career was over and having a midlife crisis at 11, but he was telling the truth. He was telling the truth. He didn't sit there and go, it's all fine. He went, well, here's what's happening, and laid it out. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Okay. And he was right, because I had certainly seen people at like 12, 13 going bang, 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 bang. And then, of course, the word teenager, duh, you work still the limited hours till you're 18. So everybody, when they're a teenager, wants to look older. But if you're 14, 15 and you look 19, you're out of work, babe. Because they're going to go get somebody 18 who looks 14, because duh. So you want to look, pookie. Well, of course, I'm 11 and I get the you're never working again speech. And then I go out and I audition. I get Little House on the Prairie.
Thank you. And that transition, I mean, you did that for 12 years or something, right?
7 years, but it was perfect because it's 12. So it was 19 when my 7-year contract was up. So well into adulthood. And my character was, we were allowed, that was the other thing on the show, we were allowed to grow up. I mean, some shows, I grew up, I graduated school, my character, I fell in love, I got married, I had twins, and so I got a restaurant and twins and a hubby and all this stuff. And then the show went, so I'm not playing a kid and trying to figure out how to play an adult. I'm already playing a married lady with a restaurant and then auditioning. So it's like,
that's so awesome.
I stood a chance in hell at least. And then I went and did theater. And so I didn't work a lot, but then I did theater and I did stand-up. So I had somewhere to go. Yeah. And then because of the stand-up, I was creating my own work, which was smart. And that's still what I wound up doing.
You're such a good businesswoman, really. You really are. You do great.
By learning by the hard way, by process of elimination of that.
That's
running headfirst into a brick wall and then going, okay.
So I have one final question for both of you.
I'm very what?
What was that?
What, Katie?
I said you're very industrious. You really you work your ass off.
I do
work your ass off.
I do indeed. See, I did the book thing. I got a store online. I'm trying to do a cooking show and a cookbook. And as I said, when everything was canceled, I had all these stand-up gigs and everything was canceled. Next thing I knew, I was doing them in my living room. I just went ahead and did everything. It's like I'm doing the exact same thing, except it's in the living room.
Oh my gosh!
But I got paid.
Way more energy than I do.
So this is the last question to both of you. What do you want the most at this moment in your life?
Oh God, to not be 60. I'm like, blah, man.
Oh, you're beautiful. Don't give me that shit.
Gorgeous.
You look great.
I have a really good, the ring light, the makeup and the ring light really helps, man. It's like, I spent so long thinking about, wow, 60, that's the thing. I still feel young, so that I still like a 15-year-old thinks 60 is old. So I'm like, no, I can't be 60. What is happening? I guess, I obviously it's like I'm in good health. Like I said, I'm just going to slightly have to have my eyeglasses upgraded. Not very much. So it's just the eye doctor. So I'm in good health and I look good and I have jobs and I have a husband who has a job and we have a house and I can't really complain. I'm beloved in France. I guess really seriously, if I could wish, like blow out candles, make a wish, where I wish I had more energy because I do so much. And now I go, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. So I wish I had more energy and stamina.
Okay.
Wow.
Katie?
I guess it's my turn.
You're up.
I'm up. My life is good. It's very simple. I live in a quiet place. I like simple. I like small. I've learned to really just like keeping it simple. I don't have your energy, Alison, at all, and I'm perfectly fine being out of the business. But I have been divorced now. The relationship fell apart in 16, but I have not been okay. I have not had an intimate partner since 2013, and
oh, wow.
The relationship started to tank not long after that. My ex was on location a lot, and relationship fell apart, and there was another human involved. And good for them, yay! I've been divorced since I think that was final in 18. It's now 22, and I think I would like to have not a marriage. Don't want to do that again. I don't want to have to like gnaw off my leg to get out of a bad relationship. Not doing that again. But I think I would like to have a boyfriend. I think I would like to have a intimate friendship partner person in my life who can put up with how weird I am and who has some weirdness of his own that sort of, our weirdnesses match without getting totally enmeshed with the other person. I don't want to make some guy my God, because that's like something I do. I would like to have a healthy relationship. That's what I would like, is to have a healthy primary relationship.
Nice.
Excellent idea.
I like that. Well, Alison, thank you so much for coming on. I love surprises.
It's going to be fun, but that's how much fun. Hey, do you swim with those manatees like all the time, or are they like what, in front of your house or something, or do you just?
I don't live on the St. John. Actually, that was the Silver River, but I do go kayaking all the time.
Okay.
My sister lives on the lake. I don't live that far from her. We have 3 kayaks. She and her wife and me, we go kayak around the lake. It is about, I want to say, it's about a mile around the lake. So we go on a hike, usually about, a couple times a month.
Oh, nice. She wished me happy birthday from a boat, and she's like, "Oh, the manatees! It's like right here, hi, manatee!" And it's like the manatees wishing me happy birthday, and it's like.
That's funny. I'd love to see that.
Yes, I was so glad you liked that. I was trying to think of something creative. I
have French friends who were skiing in like the Alps, going, "Oh, it's my anniversary from the top of a mountain," and I was like, "Okay, that's impressive."
Well, once this pandemic calms down a bit, let's all have dinner together.
Yes.
I have a guest room. I have a space that has a guest room, so you'd have to squeeze into one bed if you were, but it would be big enough for you and Bob if you'd like to come down and hang with us six down here.
Okay, that could be a thing.
Party at Katie's.
That could be. What was that?
Party at Katie's.
Yes, woohoo! After the pandemic is over, of course. After the pandemic's over.
Well, I love bringing people together. So again, thank you, Alison. This was
so much fun. Thank you.
I love it. And
thank you. Oh, thank you for doing this, David. This is a great surprise.
Oh, my pleasure. My joy. All righty. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Bye. See you. Kiss the manatees for me. Bye.
It's Bob for me.
Well, there you go.
That was awesome.
When you were coming, I had to do something like that.
No, the segue was perfect.
Thank you. I practiced.
That was great. I'm like showing the picture back here. Oh, that was awesome.
Well, yeah, when you said that, I went, okay, I got to let her in right now.